Good morning, students. I welcome you all to Agricultural Development Trust, Shardabai Pawar, Mahila Arts, Commerce and Science College, Sharda Nagar, Baramati. Huh? And what we studied? Features of what? Okay, good. So, the features of new economic policy 1991 we have studied. So, our ninth chapter is related to new economic policy. So, we'll study now. Next, what is there? Okay, children, I'll share the screen with you. Just wait for 1 minute. Can you see the screen, students? Oh, okay. Now, if the students, those who cannot see the screen or the screen is blurred, you can refer to the textbook. Keep the textbooks open in front of you. Okay, children? Now, see, we finished with all the 8 points related to features of new economic policy. Now, we come to the next point of the chapter, that is components of new economic policy. Now, components. Already we have studied in Organization of Commerce and Management related to new economic policy, if you remember. So, that new economic policy has three components: liberalization, privatization, and globalization, children. Can you see the chart over there in the PPT? Components of new economic policy. See over there. It is divided into three parts, or say three components: liberalization, privatization, and globalization. So, who has written this? We have studied this. Adam Smith, Professor Adam Smith, in his book Wealth of Nations, has suggested this new economic policy. He suggested about liberalization. Then he suggested about privatization. He told about globalization. So, the first component will take liberalization today. As I have told you, in short, liberalization means what? Completely freedom. Liberalization, the word liberalization tells us complete freedom we want. So, here liberalization refers to economic freedom, or say, in economic decision, we want complete freedom. And Professor Adam Smith, in his book Wealth of Nations, has mentioned about the liberalization process, or what is economic liberalization. So, this policy related to is what? Introduction of removal of barriers in the working of market mechanism and a free competition. So that is called as economic liberalization. Means economic liberalization means complete freedom will be given those who are there in the economic market, say, or economic policies. So without any restrictions, without any barriers, there will be growth and development. So in market mechanism, this liberalization word is telling us. So what are the measures taken for liberalization we will study? See, the first measures, the first measure for liberalization is what? We want flexibility in interest rate, children. The first measure, liberalization. Flexibility. As I told you, flexibility means what? A somewhat discount. Sometimes you increase the rate, sometimes you keep low the prices, like that. So, flexibility we want in interest rates, children. So, this flexibility of interest rate. Ah, yes, excuse me, what happened, child? Okay, so I have recorded the video. Child, don't take tension. You can afterwards listen to it. I'm recording the video and I will post on the group, children. Okay? So, flexibility in interest rate. What is that? That under the policy of liberalization, commercial banks have the freedom to determine the rate of interest. So, depending upon the market forces of demand and supply. So, flexibility will be given to whom? To commercial banks. Related to what? Rate of interest. So, they have completely freedom. What type of rate of interest they will charge particular year. This flexibility will be given, and the commercial banks will charge rate of interest according to the demand and supply in the market. Like that. Freedom will be given to commercial banks to charge a rate of interest. That is first measure for liberalization. Then the second one is what? Freedom for expansion of industries. Now, freedom for expansion of industries means what? In this new period, so liberalization, freedom period, what government has decided that industries will be free to diversify their production capacity and reduce cost of production. Means they can have more production and they can reduce the prices also according to this liberalization policy. So government fixed maximum limit of production, and he told that no industry will produce beyond that limit. Means particular number of production has been decided. Suppose for example, government told that 1 lakh boxes only this company will prepare, so that only maximum limit the company should produce the goods. It should not go beyond 1 lakh. That is production of goods and services. So that limit was given by the government. So the industries decided to have their own production limit on the basis of market requirement. So when government decided this step, according to the liberalization, then industries took the decision, took the freedom that production limit will be decided by them. Whatever production, the particular industry will take the decision how much boxes of production of goods and services they will do, and then they will supply to the market. This took place when liberalization came, new economic policy came. Otherwise, it was under the government, limit was given by the government that how much production the company should give. Any queries regarding these 2 points, that is flexibility of interest rate and freedom for expansion of industries, children? Hello. Okay. Now we'll come to the third point, that is abolition of monopolies and restrictive trade practices. Again, this point is repeating. Yesterday only we studied in features. What we studied? Abolition of monopolies and restrictive trade practices. What it was according to this act. See, according to this MRTP Act in the year 1969, all those companies having assets of say worth rupees, the value of asset is rupees 100 crores, and more were classified as MRTP firms, they were subject for several restrictions. So these firms have the freedom to take investment decisions. Means this monopoly restrictive trade practice, what they had, that they had restrictions regarding the investment of a company. Means a company, if it is having rupees 100 crores investment, then this MRTP Act will take an this thing, take an action. But after the liberalization policy, then the firms had the freedom of investment. How much money you want, you invest. Either it will go 100 or it will go for 200 crores. Depends upon company's decision. When it happened, but after liberalization, children. Then the fourth point is what? Reforms in FERA. Now, FERA is what, children? Foreign Exchange Regulation Act. So that Foreign Exchange Regulation Act, after liberalization, was replaced under Foreign Exchange Management Act, that is FEMA. So why this was done? To encourage international trade, children. So the liberalization step next was what? Reforms in FERA. Means this act was there. Foreign Exchange Regulation Act was there. So this act was converted, changed into Foreign Exchange Management Act. So why this happened? To encourage international trade, children. Then the fifth point is investment in infrastructure. Now, see, children, infrastructure, we all know. Infrastructure means what? New technology you're appointing, new technology you're coming, new technology has been adopted by the companies, new techniques of production have been adopted by the companies. So that's why investment in infrastructure means what? Infrastructure was open to domestic as well as foreign investors. Means local people also, means Indian people as well as foreign people who are interested to invest money in business are freely open because of liberalization. So investors, foreign investors as well as Indian investors were there. So these investors can invest their money in railways, roadways, and power projects. So this is investment in infrastructure. Just excuse me, children, 1 minute. Students are sending request. I will just join them. 1 minute, children. Now, see, the fifth point was investment in infrastructure. Now we come to the sixth point, that is encouragement for foreign technology. Encouragement. Why foreign technology? Because of that upgradation in technology, what will happen, children? Our expansion of industries will be there. So liberalization, what they done, that they have allowed that use foreign technology, which are higher priority in industries. And due to this foreign technology, what will happen? It will reduce the cost of production and make the industries competitive. Means we will be stabilizing, or we will face the competitive world if we use foreign technology, children. Yes or no? Now, example, simple example. If I tell you that students join online lecture, but the thing is, I only don't know how to operate Google Meet or Zoom meeting. So how I will conduct the classes? Simple example I am telling. I am telling you, study technology. I will tell you, just children join through the meeting. But the thing is, first I have to study how to join meeting, how to record the lecture. Example I am giving. So here in technology, what is there? If we don't know how to use modern technology, will the production increase? Will we face competitive world? Means we will lag behind and other countries will be ahead in modern world. So they have told in liberalization that investment say or encourage foreign technology. Why? If we use foreign technology, it will reduce the cost and it will make the industries competitive. Reduce which cost, children? See, as example, one machine will do how much person's work? For example, 10% work. So rather than appointing 10% and handling them, it's better you invest in machinery that will do more production. So it will reduce the cost of labor. And when cost of labor is reduced, the product price is reduced. Like that. Raw material price reduced, product price is reduced. So they have told that encourage foreign technology. That is another part. Because of foreign technology, jobs are not there. People will be sitting at home. That is different part. But if you have to face the competitive world, you have to adopt foreign technology. You have to adopt new technology in the market, children. So that is one point, or say one measures taken for liberalization. Then the last point in this is SEBI. If you remember, I have told SEBI is who? Supervisor, Securities Exchange Board of India. So this was established when? In the year 12th April 1992. So this step was what? Whatever investors' money is there, whatever investment has invested his money in business or any project, so that money will be kept secured under this securities market that is called as SEBI, children. SEBI means Securities Exchange Board of India. Now, simple example I will tell you. Now, see, you're writing exams in a classroom, girls. Yes or no? Okay. You write exams in a block? Yes. Hello. So, what happens then? If a teacher is not there in that particular block, if a supervisor is not there, what will happen? You will tell a teacher is not there, complete freedom will have. So, some girls will cheat. Yes or no? So supervisor is compulsory in that particular block. Why? To control, to regulate the children, to have a control that they will avoid cheating. They will not do cheating in exams. They will be honest with them. So here also to have an action on companies, on business, to have a control, to see that the business is functioning smoothly and regularly, this Securities Exchange Board of India was established, say on 12th April 1992, to have a check. And due to this, what will happen? The investors will also feel secured that whatever money they have invested, that is safe and secured, children. So SEBI, that is Securities Exchange and Board of India, was established to have a supervise or to control the business in the market, to control the securities department. So these are total 7 points related to what, children? Liberalization. And keep in mind, liberalization means what? Completely freedom. So can you notice the picture over there in your textbook? Have you seen this picture? What it tells? So Miscalculations are there, the things are spread here and there. See, the picture itself is telling. You can see a car, jeep, bungalows, factories, houses. These are all what tax rates related by the government. So here they want completely freedom. Give the freedom to industries. They will have their own production. They will have their own tax rates. They will have their own supply of goods and services without government interference. That is called as liberalization. So this picture is telling no paperwork. See the documents you can see, and the whole picture, the soda boxes are there, popcorn boxes are there, everywhere taxes there, Coca-Cola say, anything. So taxes are taken on anything. Refrigerators, electronic items are there, then vehicles are there, even food department is there, vacuum cleaner you can see. So everywhere, whatever we take the things, we purchase the things, we have to pay the tax. So reduce that tax. Let it be according to which company that product is purchasing or they are doing the production. Let them have their own tax rules. So that is the meaning of liberalization. Understood this much? Oh. Now we'll go to the next part, that is privatization, children. Privatization means what? Transfer of ownership from public to private sector. Means if a public company is there and he wants to be in private, he doesn't want government interference. So he can convert his company into private sector. That is called as privatization. Having their own company. Transfer of ownership from public to private. So, more if we explain this, it means what? Introduction of private management and control or without change in ownership of public enterprises. Means, in simple words, privatization refers to a process that reduces the involvement of the public sector and increase of private sector in economic activities. So, privatization is what, children? Regarding encouragement of private industries. Public involvement should not be there. When government interference should be less. That is called as privatization. Encouragement of more private industries. So, what is the measures or what are the steps taken for privatization? We will see today, children. So, the first measure taken for privatization is what? Disinvestment. Now, what is disinvestment? You will tell me. So, see, children, disinvestment means what? If any company is in sick, any public sector units is sick to the private investment, say any industries is sick, if they want to merge, they want to collaborate with other company for their profit, they can do these things. Sick industries are sick public sector units. If they don't want to close their company, they want to merge in private industries, they can do for profit. So here they have told that disinvestment of Maruti, ITDC hotels, IPCL, VSNL, etc. These are what? It is the act of selling shares of sick public sector units to private sectors. Means if a company is not having any profit, public sector unit, sick public sector units, and they want to sell their shares to private sectors, would do under privatization to earn profit. So this is what disinvestment policy can be done. So they have given examples regarding Maruti say or VSNL. They have sold their shares to private companies, children. Like that. This is the first step measure of privatization, that is disinvestment. Then the second step is what? De-reservation policy. Now see, de-reservation policy means what? The industrial policy of 1956 reserved 17 industries for the public sector, as we have studied last yesterday, if you remember. How many they have told were under this thing government? 18. From that 18, 4 came. And after 4, only 2 industries were under government. Yes or no? Yesterday, if you have remembered, we had that point, children. Again, that same point. That industrial policy of 1956 reserved how many? 17 industries for the public sector. Then the new economic policy, when it came, it reduced the number to 8, then to 4, and then to 2. Why? Because of this new economic policy. And they have told at present only railway and atomic energy are reserved for the public sector children. So understood these 2 points. Any queries in this? Disinvestment understood means what? Your public shares. If your company is in not profit and you want to sell it to private sector, you can do. So you can sell your shares to private sector. That is disinvestment. De-reservation means what? That compulsory licensing. So licensing we have studied that how many industries? Only two industries according to this new economic policies under public department, that is railways and atomic energy. Remaining thing has become privatization children. Then the third one, establishment of BIFR, that is Board of Industrial and Financial Reconstruction. The establishment was there under who? New economic policy. New economic policy set up this Board of Industrial and Financial Reconstruction. Why? To take decision regarding sick public sector units children. So by this end of 1996, 188 cases of sick public sector units were referred to BIFR. See, means new economic policy introduced this Board of Industrial and Financial Reconstruction. So under this industries, or say under this body, how many industries? That is 188 cases of sick public. That means those particular industries were in loss, they were not gaining profit. Those 188 cases were under registration of whom? Board of Industrial and Financial Reconstruction. So they can take decision whether this industry will continue or it will merge, collaborate with other company, or it will be winding up. So who will take the decision, children? BIFR, that is Board of Industrial and Financial Reconstruction. Who gave them the authority? New economic policy. So the establishment was what? Under 1996, this BIFR was constructed. Any queries in this 3 points, children? No. Oh, sure. Yes. So enough for today, children? Oh, yes.